Top of the middle of the day to you boys and girls. We're on location at the Big Kid Woodlot. That's what I call this location anyway. Let us take a moment and give thanks and praise to He who died on the cross at Calvary for us. It's a pretty impressive concept if you think about it. Speaking of being blessed, I happen to have a 572. This saw is on loan for Mr. Townsend over in England. We're going to Insano SS this saw. Here shortly. It's completely stock. I haven't checked out the actual bore and stroke yet. We'll be doing that shortly. We're going to do a test run against an ms461. We ran the ms462 against the stock 461, so equal comparison. We'll be able to check out relatively close on the timed runs what they actually do. To get a comparison, I don't have a stock 462 anywhere around here to run the stock 572 against. The 462 has been cycle-wise. It wouldn't be fair to run it against the stock 572. My son did all the welding on the full set of, well, full wrap set of handlebars. It came with a half wrap set and a less desirable single inside dog. I did the double set of dogs, kind of fabbed them up in a hurry. When we take a look at the other side, you'll understand why. I can tell this saw weighs a little bit more than the 462. I'm going to guess it's at least a half-pound heavier. We'll have to be checking out a whole bunch of the technical information and specs later. We're going to do a bench talk video. We'll tear this saw down before we do the Insano SS version, which means we're going to reshape the combustion chamber and do the flow tricks for this saw as well. Let us take a look at it physically here for a second. It's pretty long, stem to stern. It's pretty thin, width-wise. You can see the handlebars. Pretty much they're an early version 660 or an 064 version set of handlebars. We used this part here from a 562. I will make mention that the stop that keeps the mounts from extending too far is pretty much right in the center, which is pretty sweet. 562 down here. My son actually fabbed this part up from scratch. Pretty sweet. So anyway, it's got a pretty small clutch cover. Hopefully the full wrap version that comes from the factory actually is a little bit further forward. It'll allow a little bit easier access to the screw that tightens up the chain for the tensioner, but this is the first attempt in my home garage, so let us give it a test run, see how she saws. One thing I will mention, I'm going to bet right now it's sporting a full circle crank because this thing is smooth as silk. Now, because she's sporting a kind of a coasty grind chain, it's a little hungry for this inland wood, but I did apply a little pressure to the bar. On the second run, I noticed she kind of hunkered down, wants to pull down low a little bit, which is kind of nice. So I guess first observation, kind of a surprise. Now, I guess if we talk about initial reaction based on what I just felt, their power is a little different. The Husqvarna's delivery is really smooth. It seems like it pulls okay down low, but I guess if I was to be completely honest, I think that the 461 in stock form feels like it has a little bit more low end. That could mean a couple of things maybe about the Husqvarna. There might be a little room for maneuvering with the Husqvarna. If it's anything like the 562 with the stock port timing, there's going to be a lot of room for maneuvering. In the 572, that's just my initial reaction based on two cuts, the first two cuts I've made comparing these two saws. I did run the 572 a little bit right before I started this video just to kind of warm it up, made a little bit of a test cut, but that's my initial reaction. I'm going to go with the 462s a little quicker through the cut. I guess we'll kind of check it out when I get a chance to view this myself. So anyway, initial thoughts, there they are. Thanks for watching this session. Stay tuned for the bench talk video. It's going to be interesting comparison. I happen to have a 372 on the operating table right now, so we'll be checking it out here shortly. Thanks for watching. Like I said, Easter's upon us. Let us be thankful for all that we have and all we've been given. And please have a blessed day wherever you might be on God's green earth.